Nerium is the vehicle to get them out of where they're at right now. Who are new brand partners? If you're like a month in, raise your hand. Awesome. That's awesome. Well, I want you to know, like Raelyn said, we all struggle. And the part of the story that she didn't tell you, and I'll give you my background. My background was I played high school and college basketball. I was in the Air Force for 4 years. And then I worked, like she told you, I worked in the same job for 23 years. Very frustrated. Hadn't had a raise in 10 years. Definitely wasn't looking for skincare, but I was looking for a change. I was looking for a way out. I had 2 bosses that were really great, and in my last year, I had a boss that I would rather, I don't know, I'd rather go clean toilets than go to work for that guy. It was tough to get out of bed in the morning. I don't know if any of you have ever been there, but that's where I was. I was very frustrated with where I was in my life. I hadn't had a raise, so I was, not only is my boss a jerk, but I'm not making what I want to make. So I joined Raelyn. It took me about 2 months to get knocked in the head enough with all the great things that were coming her way. I saw, weekly checks of $500 to $1,000 a week. And I saw this money that she was making. And it wasn't so much, what impressed me about how she did it was she was just sharing product, sharing a third-party tool, getting them on a phone call with an expert, and letting them do all the work for her. So, anyone can do this. Not everybody wants to be in sales. I think a lot of people look at this and they think, well, I'm not good in sales. I can't do that. You don't have to be good at sales. You do have to be good at shutting your mouth. Does everybody understand that? I mean, when you get an expert on the phone, put duct tape on your lips. Don't talk. Let your expert do the work for you. But the direction I was going with this, though, is I was stuck. I didn't know how I was going to get out of it. When I joined up with her in 2 months, after 2 months she was in, it took me about 5 months. It took us about 5 months to get to a point where we were making enough money and I saw enough of an opportunity and potential to be able to quit my job. And I fired my boss. Not because it was a big deal, but I fired my boss not because we were financially stable. I fired my boss because I saw Nerium as a vehicle that if I ejected from my job, I could go and jump on board with her and we could take this thing and be making more money than we ever thought we'd make. It didn't happen that way. And she said we struggled. We did. We qualified for a trip to Cabo. But as a regional marketing director, you qualify, but they don't pay for your airfare. And they don't pay for your taxi cab. They pay for the hotel and all the accommodations, but they don't pay for anything else. We didn't have the money to go on that trip. Last Christmas was very difficult for us. Many Christmases have been difficult for us. And I can't tell you what it feels like to have a Christmas where I'm not completely stressed out about maxing out my credit cards and worrying about how I'm going to pay them in January and February and March. Because we all get that personal property tax bill right before Christmas. Isn't that a great Christmas gift? And every year I'm stressed out about that. Every year. This is the first year that I have no concerns about our financial status. So, I'm going to try to have some fun here. at the end, I'm going to go through some slides with you. You went way long, so I'm going to have to shorten it up, that's okay. I'm sure everyone will be fine with that. But at the end, I'm going to ask you to get out of your comfort zone. I'm out of my comfort zone right now. If you guys had met me 2 years ago, when she originally asked me to come up and speak at a market party, I was sweating. I was nervous. I got up and told everybody. I was so nervous, I didn't really care about what I said. I told everyone at that market party, I said, look, I would rather be out, and it was the middle of winter, I would rather be outside running down that street naked with my hair on fire than be up here in front of you talking. So it's gotten a little better. I got about an hour of sleep last night, so if I nod off up here, I apologize. But Nerium, Nerium has changed me personally. And when Raelyn talks about being willing to give the car back, the iPad back, and the money back, it's not just words. She's not just saying that. Because we're better people, but the people that we have met, I'm looking around the audience, and it's people that aren't even in our organization.
Yes, sir.
Start with Carl. Carl makes us. Carl makes a huge sacrifice every month to come here, and he sets things up. He gets all this together for us. He comes to all the events, and I can't imagine this event without Carl. I really can't. But, I could go through the names making eye contact with you folks, and I love you guys. I do. I really love you guys. So I'm going to try and do you proud up here. I'm going to go through some slides. But at the end, I'm going to ask you to get out of your comfort zone. Okay? We're going to do something a little different. Raelyn said, you got to have fun. And that is so true. T's the one that taught me that first. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. Don't take it so seriously. None of it. Don't take any of it seriously. If you screw up, oh well. That's part of the learning process. No one ever started this business or in this industry and was good at it. Listen to John Maxwell get up and talk about his first time that he ever spoke to a public forum and how bad he was. And to see that guy now, it took him 30 years to get to that. I was never going to make a six-figure income in the company I was with. If I can make a six-figure income in Nerium in 5 years, is that okay? Is that okay for you? Is it okay for 10 years? If it took 10 years? And when I look at some of the younger people in here, the opportunity that you have with this company, it's amazing. It's amazing where your life can go and the things that you can do. And it's not just about having money. Having money is nice. It helps you breathe. But it gives you options. It gave me an option to fire a boss that I absolutely hated. I went back to work. I have another boss. But it gave me the option to interview him. I decided if I wanted to go work for him or not. I interviewed that company to see if there's somebody I want to represent. And I said yes to them. But I'm going to say no to them in about 3 months. Okay, so. Way back. Now you went over a lot. I've killed the battery. What? So much for a family show. Okay, follow-up three-way calls. First, I want to bring your attention to up in the corner of these slides, you're going to see points, and these are the points that you want to get. So when Raelyn talked about getting your 8 points a day, these are where your points come from. So we're going to talk about follow-up and three-way calls. Probably the most important thing on this slide is it's not about you. It's really not about you. I think some people come into this business and they want to be an expert. You know, I think we're all too proud sometimes. It's our business, and we're going to do it ourselves. And people that come into it with that attitude aren't going to have any success. You know, it's the old saying, the old phrase, that you can't be a prophet in your own town, is really true with her and I. Like she told you earlier, my dad is the only one. My dad is the only one that I have that's using the product. Her mom as well. But, you know, when you don't have any support from your family, that tells you a lot about trying to be the expert to people that you have relationships with, you know. So the purpose of a follow-up or a three-way phone call is to hear a success story. And, you know, I think when I heard Danny and Aaron's success story, it touched me. It felt real to me. And you always want to try and get your third-party expert. You always want to know what their background is. Meet your upline. Another reason to come to these things is to meet other people that maybe aren't in your organization. Get their business card. Get to know them. Their background may match the prospect that you talk to tomorrow. You don't know who you're going to talk to. You talk to a fireman tomorrow and you met someone here that's a fireman, that's in the business and having success, get them on the phone with that guy. They can relate. You know, you put me on the phone with an esthetician, that's probably not a good idea. You probably want to find an esthetician to talk to an esthetician. So get to know as many people as you can. It's called relationship marketing for a reason. And the other thing is that when you just talk about the answer questions, you know, let the expert answer those questions that your prospect has. Don't try to answer. I've been on the phone on a three-way phone call before, and someone will ask me a question, and before I can answer it, the prospect asks me a question. Before I can answer, the brand partner answers the question for him. That just completely ruins the purpose of a three-way phone call. It de-edifies me. And it just makes the whole thing uncomfortable. So when we talk about putting duct tape on your lips, when you do a three-way phone call, you introduce them. Don't talk again until you say goodbye. And say goodbye. And that's it. And it's not an ego thing. It's the system. Last month we played, We played Will Smith's video in Switch. You guys seen that? Where he's teaching Kevin James, stay in the rhythm. Don't get all out here doing that kind of thing. Don't do that. We stay right here. That's our rhythm. That's where we want to stay. This is the system that Jeff Olson, who is the millionaire maker, has created for us. Do you think you can do it better than Jeff Olson? Are you more successful than Jeff Olson? Stay in the system. You're going to use the third party to do everything, to validate, to invite to a live event. You're going to help them close your prospect. And then, beyond using them just to contact new prospects, you're going to do a welcome call with them. How many people in here use welcome calls? There's people in our organization that we haven't talked to, that we've not met, because, we haven't been introduced. And it's really awkward as a leader to call someone up and say, hey, I'm Mike Whitney. I'm really successful. I have an iPad, I drive a Lexus, I make a 6-figure income, I earn a $50,000 bonus check, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's awkward for me, it's awkward for anyone that's doing it, and it's awkward for the person hearing it. No one wants to get on the phone and pound their chest. People aren't attracted to that. So do a welcome call. Get your new brand partner on the phone. Introduce them. It does two things. One, they get to hear their story, and it makes it easier for them to match up their prospect to someone who has a similar background. So it makes that three-way phone call a chance to have much more success if they're talking to someone that they can relate to. Does that make sense? That was total Danny Gassamy right there. Does that make sense? And what this does is it creates duplication. The whole three-way phone call phenomenon, if I'm a great salesperson and I can do it on my own, do you think I'm going to be able to find a lot of people that can go out and do that same thing and be a great salesperson? No. Nope. Hardly anybody wants to sell. I'm in sales and I don't want to sell. I've been in sales for most of my career and I don't want to sell. I don't. It can be uncomfortable at times. And most people don't. So what this does is it lets all the stress of trying to be an expert to someone, it relieves you of that, and it puts it on to someone else. So use three-way phone calls. Okay, using three ways. Again, this is 2 points. You get 2 points for doing this. So when you follow up with your prospect, you want to verify that they watched the video. You know, in our back office, you can see that they've watched an email. If you've emailed the video, you can see. If you've sent the video through text, does everybody know how to send a video through text? Can I get a hand raised for everyone that knows how to send a video through text? Okay. Whew. Oh, you had me worried. That's a great way because I saw a statistic that only 10% of all emails ever get read. People read the subject line and like, I don't need to read that. Text messaging is the way of the future. Sorry, my mouth is dry. And then you're going to ask them what did they like best. The purpose of asking them in that way is if you ask them, what did you think? It's kind of leading, that you can go any direction with that. If you ask them what they like best, you're leading them in a positive direction. Excuse me. So always make sure you phrase. Doug Burton told me and Raelyn once. He's one of Jeff Olson's advisors. He said it's all in the poetry and how you talk to people and how you phrase your questions. So phrase your question correctly. What did you like best? And they're going to give you a positive answer. And it keeps the whole phone conversation on a positive note. And that's when you transition into a call with the expert. If they say, hey, I really like the science. I'm really into the science part of this. You say, oh, I did too. And you might even say, hey, I've got the guy that's actually he's a friend of mine. He's having great success. He got into it for that same exact reason too. I want to hear his story. Let me get him on the phone with us. That's a great way to lead into the three-way phone call. And you want to validate the expert. Like I said, it's the same as a welcome call. Don't just get your expert on the phone and say, hey, John, here's Mike Whitney. He's in the business. That's not the way to do it, right? And then you connect the expert. While the expert's on hold, tool is used. Yes, you always want to make sure that you let the expert know what they saw. What did they like best? Jessica Parle does a great job of giving me the complete download on the prospect that I'm going to talk to. She tells me his background. She tells me what he's seen. She tells me what his hobbies are. I mean, she really goes into great detail so that I can touch on those things. One of the gentlemen I talked to, really, he got more out of, he was more into giving back to the community than he was about making money. She told me, she said, don't spend a lot of time talking about making money. I want you to tell this guy a lot about what this company does and giving back to the community. So I spent most of my time talking about what Nerium does, who Nerium is partnered with, how Nerium has changed my life in that regard. So make sure you do a good job of that up front. And then number 3, and I've already touched base on this, listen and take notes. Don't interject. Don't give your opinion on a question that was asked by a prospect. Let your expert do that. Let your expert close the call. Say goodbye and hang up. Right?
Right.
Okay. Attend the live event. And we talked about this a little bit, building relationships. You know, learning the presentation, sit in your chair and picture yourself up here at a market party, at a national convention. Picture yourself, I do that. It scares the heck out of me. But picture yourself up on stage at a national convention. Think of where you'll be in the business if you're on that stage at a national convention. Speaking, not just receiving a $50,000 check, but speaking. Darren Kidd is one of the best presenters. Y'all agree?
Yeah.
He is awesome. But that guy started somewhere too. He was probably just like me at one point, scared to death and not sure of what to say. But he came to every event. He studied his butt off, and he kept getting better by being involved in the company, being involved in doing presentations, whether he's sitting in the audience taking notes, or whether he's up here doing it. You know, you don't get better unless you get up here. And I'm not great, but I'm getting better. But I've learned so much about the business by having to get up here and speak in front of people. Because I don't want to get up here and, be a complete fool or idiot. And I am at times. But like I said, I'm getting better. But you really do learn a lot about this business by doing presentations. So, have that be a goal for yourself. To be up in front of the room at a market party. And it starts with RRPs. It really does. It starts with the RRPs in your own living room. And you do discover the bigger picture. As you meet more and more people, like Lance is here, he's had a ton of success in this business. He's making a very good living, and you'll hear his story if you haven't already. You get to meet people like Lance, like Mindy. Mindy is an impressive woman. She really is. I love her to death. And here lately, I don't know what it is, but she's on fire. She is on fire, and you can see it in her posture. You can hear it in her voice. She is a smart businesswoman. So if you haven't got Mindy on your speed dial for three-way phone calls, and you have someone that has a business background and is a woman or a man, it doesn't matter, man or woman, get Mindy on the phone, and she'll do a three-way phone call for you, even if you're not in her organization. And that goes for everybody in the room. We're all here to help each other. It doesn't matter if you're on, East Coast, West Coast, up line, down line, east line, west line, whatever that is, I don't know. We're all one big happy family. Fast start game plan. Nerium has changed a lot since we first got in, because there really was no, I don't know if there was a real game plan when we first started, Mindy. Now, if you go in your back office, there is a worksheet, 2 worksheets. It's a fast start game plan, and it takes you through what you want to cover with your brand partner, with your new brand partner. And the very first thing on the list, and it's up here too, and don't forget, you get 3 points for this, is find your why. And Raelyn already touched on the why and why that's important. There's 2 really good questions that David Bird told us that we need to ask. And that is, and this is how you figure out how committed they are to getting started, how fast they want to go. Do they want to get in and just kind of take their time? Or are they ready to hit the ground running and go fire a boss? Or change their life in some way? And that is, how do you see Nerium fitting into your life right now? And if their answer is, well, I've got 2 jobs, and then I've got 3 kids that play sports, and my grandma's in the hospital, and that's a lot of stuff on their plate, so they're probably not ready to plug in and get going yet, right? So you want to help those that are ready to get going. So that question really tells you, it allows you to kind of sort who's ready to go and who's ready to just kind of take the time, because you don't want to overwhelm somebody. Somebody that comes into this business isn't ready to get going. If you push them too hard, they're going to send their box back tomorrow and say, I can't do that business. I'm not ready for that. That's not what I signed up for. I want to make $100 at the end of 2 months, or I want to get 3 customers to get my product free. So don't project what your expectations are onto a new brand partner, because you will shoo them away very quickly. And what was the second? The second one was, how do you see me helping you when you struggle? Because we all have struggled. And if you haven't struggled, you will. You will. But anything worth having is worth going through the pain and the agony of being successful. Any millionaire that makes it big has had some sort of struggle. They took a risk. They stepped out there. They made sacrifices. Everyone. And Nerium is no different. Jeff Olson tells us all the time, this isn't quantum leap. The Slide Edge book speaks to our business. And he wrote that book 8 years before he ever started Nerium. So just remember Slide Edge philosophies a little bit every day, consistently, persistently. On this sheet, it's got a place to set your goal, and it's got a target date. So again, when you're sitting with that brand partner and you're learning that stuff, you're going to know how quickly they want to get started and what their expectations are. And you can adjust your activity and your help based on that. Prepare for launch. You're going to want to get their first 2 dates on the books. I'm sitting here with a brand new brand partner, and she's already got her RRP going. I'm sure Lance will be there helping her. So you want to try and book those RRPs as soon as possible, and 2 of them. I have one on Wednesday, one on Friday, so that did I do that? Did I? Sorry. How do I get it back? Thank you, Carl.
Thank you for forgiveness. You got so much going on there.
My mouth is so dry. You guys are making me nervous. I did it again. Good. Anybody can do this. So I think one of the best things in this, it's not on this list. Get to know them. It's relationship business. Sit down with them. Ask them what they do. Get some background on them. Try to become their friend. If you can. Some people aren't worthy of friendship sometimes. I understand that. But get to know them. It's relationship marketing for a reason, And like I said, don't overwhelm them. That's the quickest way to get somebody to check out, is to overwhelm them with back office. Get in their back office and show them all the stuff in the back office. I heard somebody say, these meetings, these fast start game plans should last anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. If it's going an hour, you've gone too long. You've overwhelmed them. Give them the basics to get started and help them. They're going to make a list. They're going to have 10 here locally that they want to contact. They're going to have maybe 10 outside of the general Kansas City area or wherever they're from. You're going to help with that. You're going to send videos to those people that aren't here local. The ones local, you're going to try and get sample bottles out to. And then you're going to have maybe another list of 10 that you want to invite to the party, to the Real Results Party. Actually, the number I heard is if you invite 40, 10 might show up. So your list of local people that you contact, you want that to be a big list. And another mistake that some people make is when you invite someone, you call them up, invite, don't use text. I mean, text is fine for those that you can't get a hold of. But the personal phone call, Raelyn touched on it. Personal phone calls, it means a lot to people to hear your voice. It shows conviction. It shows that you're taking this business seriously and you're not hiding behind a computer, sending them a Facebook message or sending them a text. You're reaching out to them with a personal phone call. So you're going to help them do that. You're going to, like I said, just invite to RP. Raelyn went over a product prospecting system. You're going to introduce the rhythm, 8-point system. Everybody can do it. It's duplicatable. Everybody can do this, right? Yep. Not everybody can do. I can't even do that. Training parties. We have a lot of fun at these. If you're not involved in one, get involved, especially a new brand partner. It really is the basics of the business a lot of times. And a lot of times not. We've gotten nuggets from every Nerium University that we've watched in the last month. They have been really good here of late. So plug into those. And it's another way to build relationship with that new brand partner. Invite them over to your house. You don't have to have steak and lobster. You don't have to have a big spread. And don't get drunk before the thing either. Try to stay sober before the training and you get drunk afterwards. But have fun. Have fun with it. Monday Night Football is that night. If you're a dude, invite your friends over for the game and say, hey, we're going to watch Nerium U before the game starts at 8 o'clock. That's a great way to get guys involved. And have some beer. But build culture, have fun. Bottom line is, have fun. Try to have fun at these things. We sit around we go to Pizza Ranch, which is mixed emotions about Pizza Ranch, but it's great. I love it. Mondays, I look forward to Mondays now. I look forward to our market parties. You don't have to beg me to go. When I've had a bad day, it's like coming home to a dog that loves to see you. And I don't mean to refer to brand partners as dogs, but I'm just saying, you go home to your dog, and your dog is like there with open arms and loves you and is happy to see you every time, right? You come home to that. When I go to a market party, I have at least 10 hugs at a market party. That makes me feel good. People ask me how I've been doing. If I've had a bad day and someone gives me a hug and says, how you been? Man, that makes me feel good. Somebody cares. I worked with people 23 years, never give it 2 rips about how I felt or how my day was. I love this family. Real results parties, 4 points. Hello, you're halfway there with 4 points. Something to remember, these slides have points on them. And the higher rated slides, this has got 4 points. What does that mean? It means it's kind of a big deal. You're getting 4 points because it's a high payoff activity. And when we came into this, real results parties weren't really, I think 2 was all that was asked of you. But now we're hearing about people that are doing more than just 2. They'll do 1 a month, or they'll do 1 a week. So if you can do more than 2, do more than 2. Do what's comfortable, but do more than 2. That's how a lot of people are just exploding their business, by having an in-home real results party. Okay, here is another tool that we didn't have when we started. And, you know, people get into this business and they're not sure what to do. Everything is right there. The system's in place. The material is there for you. Use it. Has anyone looked through this? If you're a new brand partner, have you looked through this? Okay, good. Because it lays it all out. Plan ahead. It starts with plan ahead. Book your party. Invite guests. Be excited. Be excited. Try this. When you're on the phone, because I'm guilty of this too. When you're on the phone, try to smile while you're talking. Smile the entire time you're talking and see if that doesn't change your tone and your posture. People are attracted to those that are confident and having fun. Excited about what they do. People are attracted to that, right? So be excited. Send an invite, follow up with a phone call. I mean, it tells you everything right there. It goes all the way to 1 to 2 days prior to the party. Watch the Nerium Experience presentation. Shop for supplies. Secure your expert for your party. Be prepared. Practice your hosting welcome. So it talks about party day, what to do on the party day, party time, what to do party time. Don't get too drunk. After the party, it just goes through the entire thing. Gives you 2 DVDs. It's all there for you. You just got to use it. You got the vehicle. I heard Todd Cahill say on the phone the other day, you know, you got a Ferrari sitting in the driveway, but you never take it out and drive it. It's just yard art. It's just decoration. You got a great vehicle here in Nerium. You got to get in and drive it. You got to get into your back office. You got to use the tools that are there for you. If you don't, you're going to have a hard time succeeding. You're going to have a hard time duplicating what you just did. If you do have success, you're going to have a hard time duplicating it, because not everybody can do what you just did. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Danny gassed me again. You'd be proud of me. All right. So we cover everything on that. Show the results on new brand partners, preferred customers. Let your expert close the party. It gives people direction, and we have sheets now to help you close the party. Again, more tools that we didn't have when we started. Now you just hand them a sheet of paper. So would you like to be a preferred customer or brand partner? And Mindy is great at this. She calls it, is it BAM Fam? BAM Fam? Book a meeting from a meeting. So you're having a real results party, and someone's interested in being a customer. Book their my mouth is so dry. It's not a real results party. It's a 3-year free party, and we'll talk about what the difference is. It's someone that's just interested in being a customer. So book their 3-year free party right there at the party when they sign up to be a preferred customer. Don't wait for them to go home. You know, you may not get a hold of them again. And like Raelyn said, preferred customers, treat them well. Treat them like a customer. Treat it like a business. How many preferred customers have turned into brand partners? A lot. You know, they asked everybody to raise their hand at National Convention that had tried the product before they got started as a brand partner. and about 99% of 16,000 people raised their hand. We all started this by trying the product. And these are the different types. In-home, we've already talked about that. Make it informal. Don't make it too extravagant. Again, because if you're having steak and lobster, not everybody I'm not going to feed 10 people steak and lobster. Don't do that. Even if you can afford it, don't do it. Make it simple. Crackers and cheese, some wine, brownies, chocolate chip cookies if you invite me. I like chocolate chip cookies. Make it simple. The market party is a little bit different. It's in a public forum usually. The one out south is out here at Bass Pro. What's the name of that restaurant? Uncle Buck's. Ours is actually in a Gin and Tony allow us to use their Eagle's Nest Clubhouse, which is a good venue as well. But that's the difference. Market party is more of a public forum. And make sure, I heard this the other day, market parties are not for first-time exposures. Make sure that whoever you're bringing to a market party has seen either a video or been on a three-way phone call or some form of other third-party tool. And through your free, I just talked about that. And then, that just promotes the product only. And 9 times out of 10 at these parties, someone asks, is there a business behind this? Seems like a really great product. Is there a business behind it? And so you pull him off to the side, talk about the business, or share it with the entire group. I would share it with the entire group if I were you. Okay, so we're talking about 40 points a week. Raelyn already touched on the corporate emails, listen to calls, personal development. That alone is 15 points. Who got there? And we're going to do this in recognition, so I'll leave this alone. But 15 points just for, that's really not even doing anything except your own personal stuff. It's not contacting anyone. 2-a-day prospecting, 20 points. Follow-ups with 3 ways, 10 points. 10 and 5 personal. That's 45 points right there. Not hard to do. Easy not to do, but not hard to do. Just like going to the gym and getting on a treadmill. It's not hard to do. Anybody can do that. Does everybody do it? No.
It is hard to do.
Eating chocolate chip cookies. It's easy not to eat chocolate chip cookies. Do I do that? No. At midnight when there's, everyone's asleep and can't see me? Yeah. I eat the heck out of chocolate chip cookies. I love Oreos too. I like Oreos. Oh. Okay, sorry. I'm hungry. Who brought cookies? Right. Sweet. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to ask everyone to step out of their comfort zone.